Hello there all and welcome back to Friday Night Football. We're going to get into this, what I think is quite an intriguing cup game. Then we're going to have a look at how we've been doing in the league. So we're at home versus Middlesbrough. Let's have a look at Middlesbrough's last outing. So they lost 3-1 to Wolves, but let's have a look at their team here. Look, let's go on tactics to do this. So they had Davidovic in goal. They had Christian Ziege at left back. They had Neil Emblin, once a transfer target of ours, playing at centre-back along with Stephen Baker. They've got Mitch Ward at right back. But now this is where they start to get interesting. They've got Dean Gordon on the left. They've got Paul Gascoigne and Antonio Diaz. Let's have a look at Diaz first. He's come in from Villarreal, having a pretty good season, 7 rating. Let's have a look at Gascoigne, because this is one of the reasons why I was interested in showing this. 1 goal, 6 assists, 6.67 rating. Top of the league, Middlesbrough, despite that loss. Now, this is not Ipswich Old Boy. This is Lucas Neal, the Australian/Irishman who's come via Walsall, or he was on loan at Walsall, who's come via Fulham. And then they've got a forward line of Temuri Ketsbaya. Here he is here, the 31-year-old Georgian. 6 goals, 2 penalties, 1 assist. Coming on a free from Newcastle, and our old boy Andy Booth. So it's a chance for Andy, who's got 8 goals this year, so he's already nearly matched his total from last year, and he could be on for back-to-back promotions. And then they do have our old boy here on the bench, or a couple of our old boys. They've got Keith O'Neill, I'm sure we'll see him at some stage, and they've got Brian McGlinchey, our former left back from our Ipswich playthrough that we brought over from Port Vale, but he's come in from Gillingham here. We are going to go with this team that we used for our last lineup. I'm not going to show the league or where we are yet. We're just going to go in with this. I am going to show you my new signing though, because despite having no money, that has not stopped me from adding to the squad. So Heider Helgeson, here he is, 22-year-old Icelandic. He's only played 1 game. We'll see him in this cup game. He was released on a free. His contract even was running out in December. No one offered for him. Lillstrom didn't offer him a new deal. He didn't accept the new deal, and he got released. And we used the old offer trial trick, because he wasn't interested in signing for us previously, but offered him a trial. Once he was there, we've managed to convince him to come play for us. Now, before we click start match, we're just going to run over our team. Got a few changes in. So we've got Davison has remained in goal. Scarbellius has come in at left back. Carlisle and Cowlan, Coughlin, centre back. Ed Worthy is staying at right back. He missed the last game due to suspension. We've got Zendin, Speed, Holt and Devlin. Little currently out for about another month. And then Morris and Tristan because Petro Couture is also out. That leaves us Helgeson, Paul Hughes, Sergio Nunes, Stig Bjornby and Simon Tracy on the bench. So can we, first ever meeting versus Middlesbrough, can we grab ourselves a win, get into the 4th round of the cup? It's wet 1 degrees. We are now in January. Let us see, can we do it? Try not to give away any spoilers of the league film before we get there. Morris, though, in there with a shot, smashed it wide. Here is the first mentions of Andy Booth. He's into the box, Ketsbaya on the half volley. We've survived that little spell. We've had a shot, they've had a shot. Neither keeper has been truly tested. Another shot there from Zendin, who's still not scored. So it is Saturday, the 1st of January. New year, year 2000. Hopefully no planes fall out of the sky onto the pitch or anything like that, like the Millennium Bug. I can't remember the name of it now. Hopefully it's not broke your Sega Saturn, having to have the clock roll forward. And coming up to halftime here, we're 0-0. Now, one of the things I was going to say before, I wasn't sure whether we should move to slightly more adventurous formation, but we've still not got great morale, and though these guys are top of the league, so I was like, I wanted to keep it tight, at least in this first half. And here is half time. 13,000. It's not great. Let's start there. And we're going to make a few changes here. Here is the change. We've gone back to the original system. We've brought on Heider Helgeson. We've dropped Gary Speed into this into the defensive midfield role for now, and may push him up here at some stage depending on how this is going. But he's got the much better adaptability rating out of him and Holt. Holt seems like he won't like being played in there. So let's see, can this give us a bit more of an attacking emphasis? So Middlesbrough had started to shade that by the end even. And this is not great. The man that we look to bring in has now scored past us. At least it's not his first goal of the season. Now I'm like, was it Emblin or was it Sedgley? I can't remember now. Definitely wasn't him. There was no way I would have paid 2.7 million for him, but then maybe that was the issue. I believe I was trying to loan someone. Can't even remember my own episodes now. Now this is terrible. Nothing has happened since we've brought on an extra attacker. And at the minute, we're limply going out the FA Cup. And their goalkeeper has made another good save. He's made a string of good saves there. And he's on a 7 rating. Let's get this down to medium for the last little bit, because I'm going for this. Morris, I want you up there. Zendin, I want you there. Holt, I want you in there. Am I going to get... Do we have anyone else? I'm going to bring Hughes on for Gary Speed. Because Speed's not having a great game, and he's booked. And we need to get a goal here. And this just made everything so much worse. I'm final whistle. Nothing happened after my attacking changes, which is disappointing because we're now out the FA Cup. Right, back to the league. You can see there now that I'm not hiding it, that we are 16th. So we are still on course for our major target, okay? Premier League safety. Played 20, 19 points. If we can keep that going, we will be close to the fabled 40-point mark. We've started to all claw away from West Ham, still yet to win a game. Played 20, 1-0, 8 points. All of them draws. Well, you knew that they were draws. You could do the maths. Leicester then 15, Port Vale 16, Blackburn 18, and us on 19, and then Charlton 24. So you would say that up to Everton's not totally safe, but they've just got so many more points than we look like picking up. The teams in and around here without some significant additions. So let's have a look how we've done since you were last with us. We're going to start with this game. This is the big game. We won away at Anfield, 1-0. Lee Morris with the goal, 42nd minute. Possibly didn't really deserve that, but we got it anyway. Things that we didn't deserve, though, was this 1-0 defeat to Tottenham. They scored after the 7th minute. We were all over them in terms of possession and stuff like that. So that was a disappointment. This was also a disappointment. Couture injured, Little injured. Darren Huckabee, 94th minute. It comes up as 90 because it was an injury time. It was the 94th minute. They've had that shot go in, and that's left us beaten. Look at this game here. 4-3 thriller against the Villa. That's not easy for me to say. We were getting picked apart in this game. Look, Edworthy on goal. Dublin made it 2-0 after 7 minutes. Holt made it 2-1 before Dublin added a second, and we were 3-1 down going into half-time. Morris, though, grabbing us a goal just before half-time, making it 3-2. But sadly, after getting it back to 3-3, Dublin got his hat-trick and the winner. We have now got 2 league games. We've got Charlton at home, massive game, and then we have got the return against Sunderland, who are doing pretty well, up there in 10th. Not quite first like they were before, but you've got to imagine they are going to be happy with that on their return. We'll also be covering transfer news such as this. Blackburn's Damien Duff has agreed terms with Aston Villa. He rejected the offer from Sheffield United. One of the things that's going to hold us back is that we are not able to offer any type of signing on fee for these players due to our lack of transfer funds. So anyone who's got options is possibly not going to be making their way over to Sheffield. For example, here's another one. Luis Perez has agreed terms with Betis. He rejected offers from 4 other clubs, including Gremio, Athletic Bilbao and Besiktas. We all know who the club that they've not named is, so let's not dwell on him. And it's turning into the rejection episode. So look, we can't get Johan Makoud. He is off to Montpellier. Mercenaries, these people. Darren Kenton has not actually turned me down. I didn't end up going in for him. He was a kind of backup target, so I'm going to take him off. But here we go. First signing announced. Watford's Gifton Williams has agreed terms with Sheffield United. Trevor Benjamin is off to Bury, who are at 20th in Division 2. Here is Trevor. He had an £85,000 release clause, but because of owning him on the previous playthrough, I was reluctant to bring him in. So we will see. We will follow how he gets on there, possibly staying in the same division if they get relegated. And one of the players leaving us is John O'Connor. He would not sign a new contract, so he is leaving. He's not kicked on as much as I'd hoped, but then we've not played him as much this year, so I'm a bit disappointed that we weren't able to keep him. But less disappointed now. Tranmere's Clinton Hill has agreed terms with Sheffield United. I tried to give them £1 million for him. They weren't having it. He's got a 7.04 rating, and he's not even managed a red card this year, so he will be coming in. So that's another signing. Desperately now need to try and trim off some of the guys that are just rotting away in the reserves, though. Davison in goal, Bjornaby, Sergio Nunez and Moore, Edworthy as the back four. Nunez and Moore have swapped sides for the time being. We've got Zendin, Speed, Hart, Devlin. Then we've got Morris and Helder Helgeson has gone up front. Tristan dropping to the bench with Hughes, Clark Carlisle, Scarbellius and Simon Tracy. Now, a win here would go a really long way towards starting to establish us at the top of that kind of relegation dogfight. It would bring Charlton back towards us, or not bring them back towards us because they don't lose points. It would draw us closer to them, meaning if we could get ourselves ahead of one more team, then we're closer to doing our job. We've scored. It's an excellent goal by Howard Helgeson. Can't say his name. Big HH. First goal of the season, and I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased with this guy. Look, good creativity, good strength, good technique, good work rate. That's a Masio-Ball striker, isn't it? We all know that he's got those things that we look for. Now, I am nearing the stage as we go a bit further on where I'm going to now start to look to get rid of some of the players that we brought in just last year in the Bosman window. So players like Scarbellius and like Ferguson, who was supposed to be our championship squad. Sergio Nunez scores his first ever goal for Sheffield United. The Portuguese is kissing the badge. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We got promoted too quickly, and now we're starting to do a good job. If they got Fjordtoft, it's Gary. Oh, it's Gary Flitcroft. Get out of here, Gary. You're not Jan Arga. That's a good half from us. Other than Paul Devlin letting me down, we've done well there. Can Clark Carlisle play in midfield? No, he can't. Am I going to try Hughes out there? Hughes, let's be honest, never only paid 800,000 for him, but this has been a miss. Hughes has not performed well at all. I'm going to bring him on for Devlin. I know that's harsh. He's playing in sixth. That's not a terrible result, but not a terrible score even. But let's get Hughes on. It's a gusty 7 degrees. I'm aware that the weather is always behind my face. We've got a much better attendance than we had in the FA Cup. Fans would say they were justified with staying away by our poor defeat to a team in the league below us. but it does look like they will be in the league with us next year, because I'm starting to become confident that we are going to do it. And I think it goes without saying, I've already been through West Ham's team and start to identify players who might be getting an undervalued relegation release clause. Pablo Alfaro, off you go. Yeah, so we might have a few of them on our target list. Right, let's get the big man a round of applause. Let's get Scarbellius on for Bjornaby. Got to drive the Latvian shirt sales market. He's Latvian, isn't he? Lithuanian. Sorry, Aurelius. Now I'm like, do we need a Latvian? Do we need a Latvian apology tour or a Lithuanian apology tour? Final whistle goes here at Bramall Lane. I am delighted with that. A good 2-0 win. Helder Hygerson, Helgi, Sonny, H, has scored. Wish they'd not signed him now. Now that I have to start trying to say his name out loud and realise my mouth does not make that sound. So there we go. West Ham have not added any points. We have clawed within 2 of Charlton. Now, Arsenal have won and gone top. We are just going to come in here because there's a little bit of interest on Man United. They've started to click now and turn these things around, partly thanks to the signing of Steve McManaman here, look, who has come in, 6.7 million. If we have a look at their most recent results, let's go on fixtures here. Look, 4-0 win, 0-0 with Norwich. See, it's not just us that labours in the FA Cup. 0-0 with Everton, beat Arsenal, beat Charlton, beat Wimbledon, and also beat Barcelona here. Look, they are starting to click. We've only stopped on this for the reason that we have got some Masioball. We've got some Masioball, a very young Frank Lampard, Steve Lomas, and a man whose face I recognise, but whose name eludes me. But there we are. I've not spotted that he was there before. Here we go, people, going into the final game. We've got Sunderland now up to 7th. Dortmund are stealing one of my Egyptians. I'm like, Dortmund, that isn't cool. We're going with an unchanged team. Got no one to come in here that's going to add anything or change anything. So let's get straight into this. Way at the Stadium of Light. It's a 1 degrees shower. Glorious image. Uriah Rennie. Seems like a conflict of interest. The fact that he was from Sheffield. I'm not even sure if they've signed anyone yet. They've got Bo Hansen. I believe he's new, isn't he? So let's have a look at their transfers. Yeah, so other than them, they've got Hansen, David Hopkins, and Keith Southern, who we spotted before. So Hopkins a good signing. So they're playing pretty much their classic title-winning side from the previous season. So they'll be looking for revenge over our 1-0 win here last year. Craddock's been booked, and it's not stopped him. He's hit that from 25 yards out. Now I'm worried. As I said, do I have like some kind of release clause on him? I don't. And also, if you look, he's only on 1,400 a week. So I managed to get him in as a hot prospect. He's going to want more money soon. Now that once he realizes he's my best striker, he might change his attitude towards working for such little money. And it falls to their signing Bo Hansen, and he's scored, and he's made it 1-1. So it is a battle of the Nordics. I don't know where Iceland is or what they consider themselves, so sorry. We've only had the one chance, though, so we were very close to doing what we did last year. Right. I am going to change back to a 2-striker system. Let me have a little tinker around here. So Hyder's going to go there. Zendin's going to go up top. Speed's going to go to the left. Holt's going to go to the right. And I'm going to bring on Paul Hughes, drop into the defensive midfield role. Let's try and get another goal and get another win. At least early in the second half, we've caught them by surprise here with the possession and the change of system. They brought on Keats, or they've taken off Keats. What have they done? No, he's now on. No, he's off. I completely missed that he was there. Much better second half, though. Look at this. We've caught them on the hop. Oh, and Sorensen's just made a good save to deny Morris. Morris is looking like its old championship self here. Great football by Sheffield United. We've got 15. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to get Diego onto here. 2-footed challenge. Who is that for? It's not me. Right. I'm going to drop Zendin back for speed. I should have done this the other way around. And I'm going to get Tristan on for Holt. So we're going with a Tristan Hyder Helgeson strike partnership again. Let's see if we can get these guys going. Denied space by the defenders. That's what I asked them to do. So I'm pleased to see that. Right. Bjornaby picked up a card. He's playing 6. I'm going to get him off. We've got defender on the bench. And we're reaching the stage where I'd be delighted with a point here. I know I've just jinxed myself with that. But Aidan Davidson has bailed me out there with a good save at the end. He's played a 7. Darren Holloway's played a 7, got man of the match. That's a decent result for that. A decent point away from home. How have Charlton done? Charlton have lost. Everton have won. West Ham have lost again. Blackburn have lost. And Leicester have drawn. So we've at least not allowed them to make any ground on us. We're beginning to pull away from Blackburn and Port Vale just a tiny bit. I would not want to be either of those. Definitely wouldn't want to be Port Vale. Let's just put that out there straight away. Right, there we go, people. Next up, we've got Villa, not for 14 days, now that we've given ourselves a little cup break. So there we go, people. Unless people specifically ask to see either Chelsea or Man United, I'm going to play all the way through to the Steel City return, and we'll probably have a look at Wednesday, Newcastle and Arsenal. And then we'll have this block of games, West Ham, Blackburn, Port Vale, Leeds and Charlton, as a kind of extended final episode of the season. So let me know your thoughts on that. Thank you very much, and I will see you on Monday, so have a good weekend.